Welcome, yogis. This is Janice, and I am going to lead you through a restorative practice today. We will be using minimal props. Traditionally, restorative yoga uses several props such as bolsters, blankets, blocks, chairs, in order to relax into the poses and apply minimal effort. I do recommend that you have a set of blocks. If you don't have these, you can use a book, like a sturdy book, or you can have a few extra towels or blankets on hand. We'll just be using them to support parts of the body and elevate parts of the body during certain poses. So while they're useful to have, there are other ways to achieve that effect. I have a couple of towels here. I have a hand towel that I'm going to fold up to place under my head. So actually I'll fold it this way. And then this way, just to give myself a little padding. We don't want to elevate the head too much because we can then close off the neck and make our breathing a little bit more difficult. So just a really slight elevation of the head. I have a towel that I've already folded here, and I have another towel that I will fold now just to show you the fold that I used. I chose a beach towel just because it's a little bit bigger, so it's going to give me a little bit more elevation. So I'm going to fold it long ways like this, or like a hot dog. And then we'll do a couple of folds down this way, trying to make sure that it's lined up, that we have the wrinkles out of it. And we've got a pretty good couple inches of elevation there. So that'll be our other tool. And then I also have 2 blocks and my water. So I do want to remind you that after this practice, you should drink a lot of water. We'll be mobilizing some fluids in the body and really stretching those tissues. So after that type of practice, it's essential to hydrate. So we're going to start in Shavasana, which means on your back. Take one of your blankets or towels or your block and place it under the knees. You may want to give it another fold like this, so it's more like a roll. And you're going to place that under the knees and move on to the back, letting the feet fall to the side, resting your head on your towel that you've folded for that purpose. Hands are out wide to the sides. Breathing in and out. Starting to deepen the breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. If this is very uncomfortable for you, you can bend the knees. You can lie on the side or on the belly, just finding your way to a comfortable position where you can stay for a few minutes while we connect to the breath and prepare ourselves for this practice. A restorative practice moves slower. It may not seem like a lot is happening because we're really just moving through a few poses and holding them. But really we're moving the energy in the body. We're connecting to our breath. We're releasing tension in the tissues. This is a great practice for chronic pain, as well as things like anxiety and insomnia. I encourage you to try this same practice a few times to allow yourself to connect with it. So staying in your Shavasana, if it's comfortable for you, allow your eyes to close. Just staying here. Remembering that while I will be moving through some of the poses with you, I will also be moving out of the poses at times to guide you. So I will guide you with my voice when it's time to move out of a pose. Connecting to the breath, breathing in and out, maybe moving one hand to the belly and one hand to the chest if that's comfortable for you. In this practice, we're going to practice how to respond and not react. We're going to practice how to notice what's going on in the body without developing a deeper reaction to it. In chronic pain, we often become disconnected from our body, which seems sort of strange in that we're experiencing all these sensations and all this pain in the body. But a lot of the distress that we're feeling comes from stress and anxiety about those sensations. And the pain and the stress then become a force that holds us back from our potential. So just continue to breathe here. You may have heard the story about how they train baby elephants to be obedient and to not roam. It involves when the elephant is a baby, they put a chain around its ankle and they tie it to a heavy stump or some other heavy object. And that limits that elephant's range of motion. It limits how far and how fast it can move. And eventually, the elephant becomes so accustomed to those limitations that as it grows, it does not realize that it has the power to move that stump or break that chain. And eventually, the trainers are able to remove the chain, and the elephant continues to only move within its limited awareness of its capabilities. Chronic pain can be like this. Stress can be like this. It can be a chain around our ankle and a story that we tell ourselves about our limitations. Yes, there may be some things that you are not able to do, but there are so many other things that you are capable of. As you continue to breathe here, start to think about releasing that chain. What would your life be like if you were able to separate yourself from that story, the story of your limitations? Continue to connect with the breath here. From your Shavasana, bend your knees. Bring your feet to the edges of your mat and allow your knees to release toward each other. Keeping the arms out either wide or one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. Eyes are closed for constructive rest. Bringing a little release to the hips, a little awareness to the feet and the toes. Starting at the top of the head, begin to scan the body. With each breath, following your awareness from the top of your head through to your toes, down the arms, out the fingers. Noticing how the breath moves. Is it smooth? Does it feel stuck in places? Just noticing. Noticing any areas of discomfort or tightness or any other sensation that you've identified as unpleasant. And also noticing the areas that feel very relaxed right now. Very at ease. We don't often take time to appreciate these. Our brains sort of automatically go to areas of difficulty. So just continuing to scan the body, noticing any sensations, noticing any thoughts as they arise, not reacting, just noticing. Letting them pass by, maybe picturing them traveling on the breath. As you inhale, picking them up into that wave of the breath, and as you exhale, allowing them to release from the body, through the nose, through the mouth, through the fingers, through the toes. Noticing if any of that resistance is becoming an opening. If it's not, that's okay. Just breathing and noticing those areas. not creating any sort of a story around them, just noticing. Bring your attention to the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. Release any gripping here. Maybe you've noticed that your fingers are bent, your hands are sort of moving toward the shape of a fist. Just release that. Feel the breath move out through the fingertips. The same with the toes. Sometimes we tend to bend our toes and grip down into the earth. Just release that grip of the toes. Release any tension in the feet. Now bring your attention to your shoulders and your neck. Maybe tucking the chin slightly, helping to release any tension in the neck. Moving the shoulders away from the ears. Breathing into any tension in these areas. Moving up to the jaw, bringing the teeth apart slightly so you're not clenching or grinding. Releasing the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Feeling that ease move to the area around the ears as the head and neck start to relax. Continue to scan the body, and when you find areas of tightness, just breathe into them, knowing that whatever you feel is okay. Everything changes. Today, the shoulder might be tight. After this practice, it may feel okay. Tomorrow, it may not feel tight. Scanning the body. Inhaling and exhaling. If your blocks are not nearby, which hopefully they are, or your blankets, reach for them now and bring them down by the knees. You're going to move your feet towards each other, bringing the soles of the feet together and allowing the knees to open wide into reclined butterfly pose. If you have blocks or other props, you want to place them under the thigh or the knee. You can play with the position here. The lowest position may be too low, move them to the medium position. Hands can rest on your thighs or on your belly. If you don't have blocks and this feels like too much for you, you can try supporting the legs with the hands, or you can just bring the knees back up or continue in your supported or constructive rest, whatever feels good to you. This is your practice. So just allowing a release here, tucking the chin, to allow that release. Shoulders are relaxed, away from the ears. As you breathe and scan the body, maybe pausing at the hips and the groin. Trying not to fight against the pose, but just surrender into it. Continue to breathe here. We will hold these poses a little bit longer than you may be used to allow ourselves to connect with the breath and to release some of that fascia and connective tissue. So continue to breathe here and release the knees onto those blocks, the thighs. Just taking the time to rest and relax. Give yourself this gift of feeling safe and comfortable in the body. You may find as you stay in the pose that you can adjust the position of the blocks And allow the knees to sink a little bit deeper. Shoulders are relaxed onto the mat, away from the ears. Head is resting on the little towel that you folded for yourself, or on the mat if you prefer. On your next inhale, use your hands under the knees or the thighs to guide the legs up, back up together, so the knees are together, soles of the feet are on the ground. You can move that towel out from under your hips if it's still there under the knees. And just windshield wiper the legs back and forth, bending them to one side and then the other. Starting to let some blood flow back into these tissues and mobilizing that joint. And then come back to stillness. Knees are bent, soles of the feet are on the ground. Move into wind relieving pose. So bring your knees into your chest. They can be close together or wide, whatever feels good to you, more towards the armpits. For some people that's a little more comfortable. You can hold the knees, the shins, or behind the thighs. Pulling the legs in, rocking side to side, giving your low back a massage here. Maybe doing some circles if that's comfortable for you in one direction and then the other. And then coming back to center. Pulling the right knee into the chest or the armpit. Lengthen the left leg out along the mat. Feet are active as if you're standing on them. And try to ground that calf onto the mat. Hips are both down, so avoid the temptation to roll up onto one side or the other. Just breathe into those hips, the hip capsules where we tend to hold a lot of tension, especially if we're doing a lot of sitting during the day. Start to make some circles with the right hip, moving the knee out, and then changing direction. And then finding stillness, pulling that knee back into the chest. On your next inhale, bring the left knee into the chest. Hug both knees in, and then straighten your right leg out long, flexing the foot, making contact between your calf and the mat, keeping both hips grounded. And as you exhale, bring that knee a little closer to the chest. Starting to make some circles with that left hip and knee. Just rotating it out from the body. And then changing direction. And then when you feel complete on this side, coming back to stillness. Inhale, on your next exhale, pulling the knee a little closer to the body. Breathing. On your next inhale, bring the right knee in, hugging both knees into the chest. And positioning your block so that it will be under the knees. Allow the knees to fall to the right and rest on the block. Place your right hand on top of the left knee. Left arm can be out long or on the hip. Gaze is in the same direction as the knees, so gazing to the right. Both shoulders are on the mat. As you inhale and exhale, allowing the low back to stretch here. Releasing into this twist. On your next inhale, use your hands to bring your knees back to the center, making sure that block is available on the other side, or blanket or towel will work as well. Inhaling, exhaling, right arm out long around the waist, knees fall to the left, feet can rest on the floor, gaze over the left shoulder, relaxing and releasing into the pose here. Inhaling and exhaling, just releasing into the pose. On your next inhale, bring your knees back to center, rocking back and forth again, giving yourself that little massage. Exhale, legs out long, hands up overhead if that's comfortable for you, giving yourself a full body stretch. And on your next inhale, roll over onto your side and give yourself a moment in the fetal position. Resting here in this position of safety and comfort. Feeling supported by the mat, by the floor, by the earth. And on your next inhale, pushing yourself up to a seat. Bring the soles of the feet together here. We did a reclined butterfly. We're going to do a seated butterfly now. You can take your blocks or your towels and bring them under the thighs. You can move your feet further away if that's what you need to get comfortable. Another modification that we can use is taking that towel and placing it under our seat, giving our hips a little elevation. And that will give us a nice release through these hips and groin area. Bring your thumbs to the arches of the feet and start to just give yourself a little massage if that feels good to you. You can certainly skip this part if you prefer. Working into the arches, giving our feet a little love and thanking them for supporting us all day. Working into the toes, maybe just rubbing the tops of the feet, the ankles, and the Achilles. And then finding our way to stillness. Hands at the ankles, inhaling, spine long, chest forward, and exhale, just folding and rounding over those feet. Head and neck are relaxed. Inhaling and exhaling here. With each inhale, feel your body fill with breath and maybe rise like it's inflating a little bit. With each exhale, rounding back into the pose. Inhaling, slightly rising with the breath. Exhale, release, and just stay here. You can continue to move with the breath, or you can just release and surrender into the pose. Again, you can adjust the position of your blocks as needed. You can adjust the position of your feet, bringing them further away or closer to you, whatever feels comfortable in this moment. We'll stay here for a few more breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Just breathing here, maybe nodding the head, yes and no, to release the neck. Feeling yourself surrender deeper into the pose, but fully supported by your blocks or your blankets. Inhale to rise. Straighten the legs out long. And then coming to a seat, legs folded in front of you, crossed in front of you. Again, a blanket, towel, or block under the seat may help this position to feel more comfortable. Elevating the hips, hands on the knees, inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Just take a moment to center yourself here, pressing the thumbs into the chest, connecting with your heart. Scanning the body, noticing what feels different when you're sitting and when you're lying down. And just noticing, just breathing into that space. No need to react. On your next exhale, release the hands to the knees. And if you're sitting on a prop, you may want to remove it now. We'll start to move the spine. So as we inhale, chest comes forward, and exhale, arching the back. Inhaling forward, exhale, arching the back. It's like a stirring motion. Like you're a spoon stirring a bowl and you want to hit all the sides of that bowl. Just bringing some length to the spine, some mobility, some softness to our edges. Inhaling forward, exhaling back, and on your next inhale, changing directions. Inhale, exhale, back. Inhale, forward. Head and neck are relaxed here. Just the spine that's moving. You will get some mobility in that cervical spine as well, but no need to force that. And when you're ready, coming back to center, stacking the ribs over the hips, shoulders over the hips. Inhaling, chest comes up, chin comes down and back to reach up through the crown of the head. Exhale. Good. And we'll move into some seated forward folds. You can use your blocks here, or you can just rest the hands on the legs. It's not about how far you go, it's about how you go. So let's work on that. Take your towel and put it under your hips, under your seat. Roll to the front of your sitting bones. Extend the legs out long in front of you, flexing the feet. Inhale the arms up, shoulders relax away from the ears. Inhale, chest forward, reaching up through the crown of the head, and exhale, folding forward to whatever degree you are comfortable. A way to make this even more restorative is to bend the knees, even placing blocks under them. You'll still get all the benefits of the pose, maybe even a little bit more stretch to the low back. Inhaling and exhaling. Keeping those toes pointed up. Flexing the feet so that your heels are hidden, so that you cannot see the heels. Inhale, the chest comes forward. Exhale, release a little bit further towards your legs, if you can. Inhale to come up. Exhale, hands down. You can remove the blocks. You can leave the towel under your seat if you find that helpful. And bring the left knee in towards the groin. Moving the right leg out at about a 45-degree angle. For a little more restorative version of half dragonfly, you can take a block here. You may want it for either your forearms or your head. As we inhale, reaching the arms up, and exhale, folding forward. Maybe resting the forearms on a block, maybe just resting the hands on the mat or the forearms on the mat, depending on where you are in the pose. Maybe turning the block to its highest level and resting the head there. Allowing the back to round, the head and neck to relax, nodding the head, yes and no. Sinking into the pose. Surrendering. Beautiful. We'll hold this for a few more breaths. Just allow any sensations to rise. Just noticing them, not needing to change or react. Whatever you're feeling right now is the right thing. This is your practice. If you need to come out of this a little bit, you can. Just allowing yourself to relax into the pose at whatever level works for you. On your next inhale, coming up. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands back down to the sides. Inhale the chest forward. Little back bend here. Exhale back to center. And we'll switch legs. So the right foot comes in, making contact with the left thigh up towards the groin area. Left leg is out at about a 45-ish degree angle, wherever feels comfortable to you. Towel under the seat or not, whatever feels good to you. Inhaling the arms up overhead and exhaling forward into our half dragonfly. Maybe your forearms are on the mat, maybe your hands are on the mat, maybe you're using a block to let yourself surrender deeper into the pose. Head and neck are relaxed. Left foot is active, as if you're standing on it. Spine can round here, allowing for full surrender into the pose. We'll stay here for a few more breaths. Just finding the edge of what's comfortable for you. Not pushing beyond that. Just finding that edge and staying there. Releasing into the pose. And that can change day to day. Poses look different on every body and can look different every day on the same body. And that's okay. That's the great thing about yoga. Inhaling and exhaling, surrendering into the pose. On your next inhale, come up to rise, bringing the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Inhale, bringing the hands beside the hips, either fingers to the side or fingers pointing towards the toes. Inhaling, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the chest. And exhale, coming back to center and releasing the legs. Bring them out long, shake them out a little bit. We'll bring the right knee in for a twist. So on this pose, the right foot is planted into the mat. Feet are active. Again, you're hiding that heel from yourself by flexing the toes. You're hugging this right knee in to midline as much as you can. And inhaling, arms up. Exhale, wrap the left arm around the right knee as if you're giving it a hug. Plant the right hand behind the back. You can also use a block for this if you want to. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. On each inhale, you're going to lengthen through the crown of the head. And on each exhale, you'll twist just a little bit deeper if that's comfortable for you. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale to twist. And on your next inhale, coming back to center, arms up overhead. Exhale, straighten both legs out long, shake it out a little bit. Inhale, pull the left knee in towards the chest. Exhale, growing long. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, wrapping the right arm around the left knee, bringing the left hand in back of you. Not way back here, just far enough to support you so that you're not bending backwards. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist, maybe looking over that back shoulder if that's available to you. With each inhale, you are lengthening, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, lengthening through the crown of the head. Exhale, twisting just a little bit deeper. On your next inhale, coming back to center, arms up overhead, legs out long, exhale, palms to the floor. We're going to make our way back onto our backs now. So if you have a towel under your seat, go ahead and remove that. And you're going to want some props nearby as we make our way through our last few poses and into our relaxation. So I've got my towels where I can reach them. I've got my blocks where I can reach them so that I don't really need to move out of my poses into anything. So let's straighten my head towel out. We're going to roll onto our backs. Try to go down one vertebrae at a time. If that's not possible for you, use your hands. And just take a moment to find that mat again. Find your place on your back. We'll bring the feet in as close to the butt as we can here so that we can brush the heels with the tips of our fingers. We're going to move into bridge pose. This is a great supported pose. So what I'd like you to do here is take your block if you have one, or if you're using a towel, maybe giving it that roll again so that it's a little more supportive. And lifting the hips, pressing into the feet on your inhale. Bring that block under your sacrum, so the lowest part of your low back. And then exhale, releasing onto the block. Hands are out next to you. Maybe your palms are up if that's comfortable for you. And we're in bridge pose, which is a very mild inversion. Bringing the hips above the heart. Helping that blood flow. Giving some release to the spine. On your next inhale, slide your shoulder blades towards each other just slightly, and you'll feel the chest lift a little. Inhaling and exhaling, just releasing onto the block, relaxing here. Maybe closing the eyes if that feels good to you. We'll stay on the block or the towel here. Inhale, bring your right knee into your chest, towards your chest, and left knee goes out long, foot is active. So we're back in that pose that was near the beginning where we have one leg in and the other leg out straight. But it's a little different sensation here with the hips elevated. You can feel that a little bit more in the front of the hip flexor. Shoulders are relaxed onto the mat. Inhaling and exhaling, noticing the different sensations in the body with each pose. On your next inhale, bring the right foot to the mat. Exhale here. On your next inhale, bring the left knee in towards the chest and straighten the right leg out long. along the mat. And it's perfectly normal for one side to feel tighter than the other side. I'm definitely feeling that here. Inhaling and exhaling. Maybe with each exhale you bring that knee in a little closer to the body, just centimeters, millimeters. Just feeling the difference in the sensation. Keeping that right foot active. Inhale. On your next exhale, bring that foot to the mat. Inhale the other foot in so that both feet are touching the mat again. Knees are bent. Inhale to lift the hips and remove the block. Exhale down to the mat, one vertebra at a time. Bring the knees into the chest. Rock side to side. And we'll go into our twist a little bit differently. So we're going to hug the left knee into the chest and straighten the right leg out long. Bringing the block so that it's available for our knee to rest on if we need it. Inhaling and exhaling over to the right. Maybe using the right hand to guide that left knee. Maybe scooting a little bit more onto the right hip. Left arm can be out long or resting on the waist. Gaze is in the same direction as the knee, so gaze is over to the right. Shoulders are relaxed. Inhale and exhale, maybe moving a little deeper into the twist with each exhale. And even if it's microscopically deeper, it will change the sensations in your body. And on your next inhale, coming back to center. Both knees into the chest. I'm going to reposition my towels a little bit and put my block where I can get to it. Inhale, pull the right knee in, left leg out long, foot is flexed and active. Exhale, twisting over to the left. Right arm can be out long or on the hip. Gaze to the left. Taking a few breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. Maybe shifting onto that hip a little bit more to make this a little more comfortable for you if you would like. And just microscopically easing your way into this pose, millimeters at a time. On your next inhale, bring your legs back to center, hugging both knees into the chest, making some circles with your low back. And on your next exhale, straightening out, long arms overhead, legs long. Breathing here, wiggling the body, maybe moving the head from side to side, taking whatever movement you need to prepare yourself for Shavasana or our final resting pose, the same place that we started. So maybe taking your rolled up towel and placing that under the knees to make this pose a little easier on the low back. We'll be staying here for a few minutes. Using your little towel under your head. Arms come out to the sides, palms are up, feet are open to the sides of the mat. Feeling every part of your body make contact with the mat. Feeling your breath return to its normal pace, depth, rhythm as you inhale and exhale. Allowing the eyes to close if that's comfortable for you. And again, if this position does not work for you, you can make your way to your side or to your belly and find whatever feels good for your practice. So staying here, breathing, inhaling and exhaling, closing the eyes, allowing the breath to reach every part of the body, from the top of the head to the tips of the toes, tips of the fingers, deep into the belly, into the low back, allowing the breath to just reach every muscle, every organ, to travel along the bones and the nerves and and the blood vessels, just bringing life into the body. We'll take a few moments here to relax and to release and to allow this practice to integrate into the body. Remember that you are completely supported here, completely supported by the mat, by the floor, by the earth, by whatever props you have. That I am here to support you, to guide you safely through this practice and through your relaxation and your breathing exercises. I am here to guide you as you do the work and experience the medicine that yoga can be. Allowing any sensations to arise in the body, any thoughts, just noticing them, remembering that we're not reacting, we're just noticing. And that's the first step in moving toward responding instead of reacting, toward releasing our stress and our tension, making space in the body and in the mind. Meditation teacher Jack Kornfield says, "The body is the container for all that's possible for freedom and joy." Just think about that. Allow that quote to travel through the body with your breath. The body is the container for all that's possible for freedom and joy. Remembering that this container does not have to be perfect, does not have to feel great all the time, that it holds possibilities. Not our stories. We can release those like we can release the chain around our ankle and move into our full potential. Just take a few moments here to rest in silence, connect with your breath, allowing any sensations to arise and pass, allowing any thoughts to arise and pass, allowing freedom and joy to spill out into the body and out into the world. A few moments in silence, and then I will ring a chime when I will start guiding you back into your body and into the space. Slowly starting to bring your attention back to the body, wiggling your toes and your fingers, connecting with the breath, connecting with the space around you, allowing that movement to move up the arms, down the or up the legs, maybe shrugging the shoulders, moving the hips side to side, moving the head side to side to bring movement back into the neck. Inhaling, stretching out long on your mat if that feels good to you. Exhale with a sigh. Inhale as you roll over to one side, finding that fetal position again. Allowing yourself a moment of rest here, curled and protected. With your next inhale, pushing yourself up to a seat. Eyes can remain closed, or you can open them if you prefer. Finding that comfortable seat again, whatever that means to you. Inhaling and exhaling, allowing the eyes to flutter open. I thank you so much for joining me in this restorative practice today. I hope that it helped you in some way to reconnect with your body, with that container of freedom and joy and possibility. I hope that there's something that you can take from this into the rest of your day, even if it's just that you made time for yourself and showed yourself that love. We'll inhale together here, arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Inhale, exhale. And to close our practice, we'll inhale, thumbs to the third eye, massaging the forehead a little bit. And exhale, releasing the palms. Thank you again. My name is Janice. I hope you enjoyed this practice, and I hope to see you on your mat again soon.